Your husband is facing this conviction. He had his sentencing. When is his incarceration close to imminent, and how is your family dealing with that?
Thank you so much for having me on again. Yeah, yes, he's supposed to turn himself in on June 16th, which is right around the corner. I can't even wrap my brain around that is even a reality after what we've been through and what happened and the fact he committed no crime. He didn't do anything illegal. And we fought back. And when we fought back, that's when it got extremely painful. And the tactics to win at all costs from the Department of Justice, the Biden Department of Justice, was outrageous. So just to give you a little bit of a brief background, my husband is a retired NYPD sergeant. He earned 78 medals while he was on the NYPD, and he was in a severe accident which ended his career. So he became a private investigator. And in 2016, got a routine case for some background searches, asset searches, and he worked for a few days, hired 2 NYPD retired detectives as well to work with him, did surveillance, very, very, very routine case. Everything he did was by the book, notified the local police he was there doing surveillance, and then never thought about it again. And 4 years later, the FBI came to our house and arrested him for violating FARA, as you said, and interstate stalking. There was nothing about this case, and the evidence proved that there was no foreign government connection to his work on this case. And he's a private investigator parked on a public street. And the subjects never saw him, couldn't identify him in court, never filed a police report, never filed a protective order, never took a picture of a car that was following them. And he was still found guilty, which gives you an overview of how in the federal government, when they want to convict you with a 99% conviction rate, there's a way they do that. And that's what's in the book is really a map as to the tactics, how they can get away with that, which is outrageous, and falsifying evidence, lying. The list never ends, but we wanted to fight back because he's innocent and he's a hero and he loves this country, and he would never sacrifice anything for a few $1,000s. This man who has proven his entire life to serve us would never sacrifice our country, the sanctity of our family, our safety for a few $1,000s for legal private investigative work.
Martha, you're saying something that I, of course, understand completely and resonate with. But for a lot of Americans, it's, and you probably experience this yourself, it's a little hard for them to comprehend because they don't realize that there is a massive accordion of federal statutes, and that they can truly pick anyone on the street. And if they want to put you in prison, whether it's your tax returns or whether if you're a doctor, they charge you with administering illegal pain medicine, and then they produce some old woman in court who goes, yeah, I wasn't really in pain, but I got it prescribed these medications. Boom, suddenly you're facing years in prison, and it is in an orchestrated setup where behind the dignity of the courtroom, you got a judge, you got a prosecutor, and of course the jury thinks, well, why would this guy be here if he didn't do all these horrible things that the government is saying? Was it for you a peculiar experience as an American? All of us have kind of the civics book idea of America, but you're standing there and you see a very different justice system, don't you?
It is an absolute breakdown of what this country is supposed to be about. It's due process. It is the amount of illegal documents that were obtained as far as spying on us and searches. To your point, Dinesh, not one person testified against my husband in this trial. No one. The case agent who worked on the case for years, FBI, he didn't testify. The victims, alleged victims, got on the stand and couldn't identify him in court. All of our evidence was back the fact that he was innocent, but the prosecutors successfully argued to suppress it to the judge. For instance, his interrogation video, which is overwhelmingly positive for him, where he is clearly innocent. We were not allowed to show that to the jury. The idea that you can't defend yourself properly in the federal court system has to change. And there's already been changes about that. So I think people need to understand, just because you're innocent, why should it cost you your life, your home, I mean, you're talking millions of dollars, you know this, Dinesh, to fight these cases. And they know they're going to bankrupt you. And they encrypted our files. We couldn't open them. The amount of gymnastics they went through to convict my husband, who was innocent. And they know he's innocent. They all know he's innocent. The judge knows he's innocent. But what they get away with inferring, making things up, and painting this picture of a hero sitting there, it was so painful. Every day that they tore him apart on the public stage, world stage, Dinesh, world stage. They're calling my husband a traitor. I mean, this is outrageous. This is a guy who would never do anything. He's never broken a law in his life. They couldn't find anything he'd ever done wrong in his life. They couldn't even find a tax return. They couldn't find anything he'd ever done wrong. So they just made up a story.
Martha,
it's shocking.
Most of us think Medicare is something to deal with someday in the future, and that's kind of how I felt, well, until recently. I'm now 64, and the moment you hit that number, whoa, it begins. The mailers, the robocalls, the TV ads with actors you barely remember. Well, none of it makes any sense, and the more I looked into it, the clearer it became. This whole Medicare system is really not designed to be easy, and that's why I turned to Chapter. They walked me through everything, no pressure, no sales pitch. Chapter is independent. Their advisors compare every Medicare option out there to help you save money and remove the stress, all at no cost to you. So if you're turning 65, or even if you're over 65, do what I did. Call Chapter, get peace of mind. Here's how you do it. Dial pound 250, and when prompted, say Dinesh. That's the pound sign, and then 250, keyword Dinesh. Don't let Washington or big insurance make these decisions for you. Take control. Call Chapter today. Go to pound 250, and when prompted, say Dinesh.